I need to ask you something. What is the thing that you have been putting off the longest? Like the thing that has been sitting on your list. Or maybe it's not even on your list anymore because you stopped writing it down and it's been weeks, months, maybe even years. And how do you feel when you think about it? If the answer is shame, this episode is for you. Welcome back to No Longer Allowed. I am Kristen Falgo, and today we are talking about procrastination, but not in the way that you think. Because I'm not here to tell you to get it together. No, I'm not here to give you productivity hack or give you a 5-step morning routine. I am here to tell you that procrastination is not always laziness. And the shame spiral you go into every single time you put something off, that is actually what is keeping you stuck. And this is what is no longer allowed. So before we go any further, like what I want you to understand is that not all procrastination is the same thing. Okay. There's different things that we procrastinate, and there are different reasons why we procrastinate it. And I think that's where we kind of all get it so wrong. And there's the big stuff, the things you've been putting off for years, the business you haven't started, the hard conversations you just haven't had with people that you know you need to have them, the thing that's been on your heart forever, but you just can't seem to make it happen. That kind of procrastination, sometimes that's not avoidance. Sometimes that's just divine timing doing its thing. Then there's the mundane stuff. The laundry pile, the stack of mail on the counter, the dishes in the sink, the text you haven't answered. That kind of procrastination is usually just your brain just hitting a wall. It's a stress response. It's your nervous system saying, I am already at capacity. I cannot take on one more thing right now. That's not laziness. That's protection. And then there's the phone, y'all, which is honestly in its own category and its own problem. And we're going to talk about that as well in this episode. But the thing that runs through like all three of these things, the big stuff, the mundane stuff, and that phone, it's the shame. We beat ourselves about it every single time, about them, every time. And that's the shame spiral. That is actually what keeps us more stuck than the procrastination ever did. So I'm going to tell y'all a little story. Back in 2015, me and Nate bought this piece of land that our house is on right now. Our plan was we were going to put a mobile home on it. We were going to live in that mobile home for 1 year, just 1 year. And we were going to start building. Like we were so determined that that's what was going to happen. And so I remember like our first summer there. Now we live in South Louisiana. We live right in front of a sugarcane field. There is no trees around us. It is just wide open field. And we put that mobile home in the middle of this field, basically. We had no trees. The mobile home barely had any insulation in it. And we were living in that in the middle of summertime in South Louisiana. Y'all, it was so hot. Our AC couldn't keep up with it. I was actually working nights as a nurse at that time. And so a lot of times I was sleeping during the day. Y'all, it was so hot. It was miserable. I think it was like 2 full summers that we lived, like, in this mobile home with the heat. And by that 3rd summer, we were like, we just can't take it no more. And so we found a rent house and we moved into the rent house. And then about like 9 months later, we ended up having to move to another rent house. And I remember walking into that second rent house and I was like, what are people thinking of us? Like, now look, this is a whole nother episode in itself, but for the purposes of this one, I'm going to stick to this story. But I was like, people must think that we really can't do this. And people must really think that we can't afford it. And it was just because every single time I ran into anybody, so that would be at the store or at school for the kids' events or at church or just running into random people, it was the same questions over and over. And it was, when are y'all building? Who is building your house? Have y'all worked on your plans? Like all just simple, genuine questions that you would ask somebody if you ran into them and you wanted to know about their house. I know nobody was trying to harm us or anything like that, But it would send me down this super long shame spiral. And honestly, what it was we just weren't ready yet. That's what it was. Things just weren't coming into place, and we couldn't figure out why things weren't coming into place. And then eventually, it's almost like just things kind of just started happening. And it was like it was almost working on its own timing. And so finally we sat down, we got plans, we started building. I think it only took us like 6 months to build this house. We were determined. And we moved into this house exactly 1 week before they announced that everything was going to shut down for COVID. So there was only 1 week that I lived in this house and had a normal routine. And then I was here. And so now looking back on it, I can see the divine timing in it for our story. I wasn't in a rent house during COVID. I wasn't even having mid-construction building processes during COVID. Like, I was able to just be in my house. I was able to unpack it the way that I probably would not have been able to unpack it because I would have been going to work and the kids would have had school. So it would have been like little things here and there with, boxes everywhere. I was able to take that time and unpack a house. And I didn't have to build during COVID times. And so when I look back on it, like if I would have like built that house back in 2016 when we said we were, it wouldn't have been this house. And I wouldn't have been able to have that same appreciation that I got to have when I finally moved in 2020. That wasn't actually the procrastination. That was just the divine timing for me and my little family. And I look back on it and how much shame I carried all those years every time somebody was asking me these questions. There was no need for it. I was on my own timeline, and now I can step back and I can see the bigger picture there. Now let's talk about the mundane things, all right, the little things, because not everything is about divine timing when it comes to procrastination. Sometimes the laundry is just the laundry and it needs to get done. I know that, and you know that. But here's what I want you to really understand about the mundane stuff that piles up when your nervous system is already overwhelmed. Your brain genuinely cannot prioritize those tasks. It's not a character flaw. It's not laziness. It's your brain going into protection mode and saying, we are at capacity. We are surviving right now. The mail can wait. And then you feel shame about the mail and the laundry and the dishes. And by Thursday, you're fishing out of that laundry pile for a matching pair of socks. And then you feel like a complete failure before your day even starts. And that shame takes up more energy than you doing the actual laundry. All right. And now the phone. We're going to talk about that phone. Here's what actually happens. A notification goes off. You pick it up. We know this story. You just say, let me check my Facebook real quick. So you open up your Facebook. You start scrolling. Then you get all of it and you say, well, let me go check my Instagram. So you get back on it and you're checking it. Well, let me check my email real quick. And you check your email real quick. And then before you know it, you went back on Instagram. You went back on Facebook. You went back to Instagram. You sent your friend about 5 different reels. I know the story. I've done it myself. I get it. And now you've been on that phone for 20 minutes. The dishes are still in the sink. The kids needed to be up about 10 minutes ago. And now your whole morning feels like it's on fire before it even started. Those dishes, they did not procrastinate themselves. Your phone hijacked your nervous system because you were worried about everybody else's life. Okay, so now here's something I want you to sit and think about, okay? Sometimes the most productive thing that you can do is to let those notifications sit. Actually procrastinate those notifications. Not every text needs your immediate response, and not everybody's urgency is your emergency. The text will still be there in 20 minutes, but your morning, your regulated, calm, I can actually function morning, that's something that's worth protecting, and that window is a lot shorter. Letting those notifications sit isn't actually procrastination. Sometimes that's just using your wisdom. So for the purposes of this episode, there are 3 things I want you to take away with, okay? So, number 1, ask yourself, what kind of procrastination is this? Is it a big thing that keeps not happening? Sit with it. Is it possible it's just not the right time yet? That doesn't mean give up on it. It means stop carrying shame about the timeline and trust the process. Trust when it's supposed to come to you. Your job right now is to just stay open and sit with it, not force it. All right, number 2, give your brain some grace on the mundane things. If your laundry is piling up and your sink is full of dishes, it might not be because you're lazy. It might be because you're running on empty and your nervous system is in survival mode. The answer isn't shame. The answer is, what do I actually need to do right now to regulate so that I can function? So start there for that. Number 3, here's going to be your main challenge for this week. Do not open your phone for that first hour of your morning. Now, if you have to open your phone to turn your alarm off, I'm not talking about that. Do it and then get right off. I'm talking about the social media checks, the emails that can wait, the texts that can wait. Protect your morning like it belongs to you, because it does. And so this week, I challenge you to not open that phone for the first hour after you wake up. I promise you, it makes a huge difference. And so if that phone challenge, it feels like a starting point for you, the 5-day reset is actually like the best place to go next, because I do cover some phone topics in the 5-day reset as well. And one of the things we work through is just like setting your intentions through your day and where is your energy actually going. And so if the phone boundaries is something that you need, but you don't know where to start, this is actually your place. It's free. I'm going to have the link in my show notes as well. And of course, if you start feeling that little shift within yourself, I do have the 12-week rhythm reset. And that is where we're going to really deep dive into your patterns, your habits, and how you move through your days. And honestly, having somebody walk alongside you and help you pick apart your brain during this journey can make that transition and make it just move so much more faster. Things start to make more sense when you have that accountability. If you were interested and just want to find out some more about it, please DM me in my Instagram. I put my Instagram on the show notes as well. So thank y'all so much for being here. If any of this hits home with you, please share it, because that is how we grow. I am Kristen Falgu. This is no longer allowed. And whatever you've been putting off and beating yourself up about, the shame spiral, that is no longer allowed. I'll see y'all in the next episode.